Hello, I'm Dr. Wendy Rowley, and this is What You Can Do Now for Your Personal Evolution in the New Energy, episode 10? Episode 10, and it's called The New Place of Communing. We've got a theme going here about the new energies, the new uplifting, the new places that you can commune to with a slightly different focus and sort of rising up above the noise, rising up above the noise of the lower level of what's going on, the war, the upset, the problems, the everyday problems you have with work and people. You need a place to have succor and rest. And you need a place that you can just run your energy, if you know that term, and quiet and meditate, or go out in nature and refuel and re-get your balance. Some people do breath work, some people do yoga, some people do moving Tai Chi meditation if you need that kind of thing. But find something that uplifts you and feed yourself with that every day because you deserve it. Let's see what Aliania is going to bring in this day. Okay. Oh, good day to you, dearest beings of light. I am Aliania of Cosmic Service, a Pleiadian mother of sound, as strange as that sounds. We work the creational levels. We created the human consciousness grid, the what you call the soul mastery or Christ grid, and the soul interim creational grid, or the soul Christ, the interim Christ grid. And we come and we do various upgrades and shifts and changes at various times. And we've worked with many masters who have walk the earth. This one's in the background going, I'm not a master. Make sure they understand that. I'm a master in training, like all of us are. And because she said if she were to write a book, it would be called Where's the Guidebook for the Newly Evolving? Then she started clearing out her Akashic records, her light quote imbalance, as people call it. And she said it would be called Stumbling Toward the Light, because that's a very, very challenging thing to do, but a very worthwhile thing to do. And it's something that comes up for people in a particular lifetime or series of lifetimes. It's just their turn to do it, and it was hers. And that's the way it goes. Okay, so we've been speaking about the new intuition, the new knowing, the new Christ healing pathways and Christ ability pathway, because you do get abilities through the Christ energy as well as your soul. And this has not been talked about much. So we're calling this the new way of communing, but we also want to go into that a little bit in this one because this is not often spoke about. We've spoken about that the Christ energy is a healing force, and that it is a evolutionary force, and that it's an energy that always has a golden, beautiful pathway that you go through to find your way home, to back to soul in between your incarnations. And it is a pathway that also has abilities within it beyond healing and beyond the sense of home. Now, you have the connection in your heart to the creative source, and you have it as a group way. And we're learning that our intuition is actually a group thing, and that our knowing comes out of our Akashic records based on our experiences. But our intuition and our Christ attributes are part of the higher self soul group level, and they change and evolve. Because as we've said, the Christ energy is an overarching force and evolutionary force of a planet. So some of the attributes that come in now at the shift change time, and this one's in the background going, well, what happened in the past? What were those attributes? We're going to get to that. Just get out of the way a little bit. So the changes that go on at the midpoint or the great shift of a planetary system that you're in now are these upgrades to many, many things, and many different types of people and healers and activators and energy workers are bringing in little aspects of these things. This one's work just happens to involve the grids, and that's just happens to be what she does. And so the attributes that are being upgraded, we spoke about in the last session in this series, What Can You Do Now? have to do with upgrades to connecting intuition, knowing, and the Christ healing pathway and the Christ attributes pathway. But now let's talk about what's coming into those attributes. One of the things that's coming in is an ability to have a more profound connection with the creative source. We've spoken about that as a divine intelligence upgrade. Divine intelligence is like the personal power of soul groups in the central column, of personal power of higher self groups, soul groups in the central column, and relates very much to the human consciousness grid. And so there's an upgrade of that pathway. Other attributes of the Christ are in the golden Akash, and they are particular healing rays and aspects, if you want to look at it that way in a vocabulary, because some people have brought those terms out. We would say they are almost like attributes of the creative source in healing. In other words, you have, this is when it's seen, the white light of healing comes down and transforms things. And then you have a Christ healing aspect and a divine feminine Christ healing aspect that works different pathways. And we have mentioned in other episodes on YouTube that they are working pathways that involve the evolutionary and the higher self soul group level. And that's different than individual white light healing. And so there's that attribute at the golden Akash level. And then in the intuition level, the Christ energy also has attributes. It has attributes involving the ability to have a higher knowing within divine intelligence at the soul group level. So you have intuition of your own in the golden Akash, and then you have soul group higher self intuition in the golden Akash, and you have soul group higher self or higher self soul group intuition of the Christ in the golden Akash. And that's another parallel to what we just said before. It involves evolutionary and divine intelligence upgrade setups. So we've said the divine intelligence is getting an upgrade, that the Christ healing and Christ attributes are getting an upgrade. So that means that together there's also going to be a blending there and an upgrade, which means that the attunement in your heart is now going to be flavored with the attunement of the golden Akashas in the Christ healing and Christ attribute level. A lot to follow, but if you need to and you listen to this a few times, you'll get it. So what that means is, and some of you might get it right away, and what that means is that there'll be an additional flavor in intuition at the group level of when you're with a group. And that's brand new and has never been here before. That's something that comes in at the shift change time that you were in. And that's because, as we've said, and as others have said, you're evolving to a group consciousness, because that's important to be able to get along on a planet as more people come and as it gets more crowded and as you get concerned about resources and inventions and survival and power, your electric grid and all the things that people are worrying about now, pollution. So you need a group consciousness aligned with divine intelligence, where we have said in other channels that the solutions and inventions off of the interim grid through what are called time capsules or enlightened planet records get percolated through. And you need a group intuition and knowing and sense of an extra oomph that that's the right direction. So we said in the last video that you would have it personally, and this video is kind of about the group level of that. So there'll be almost like a group intuition through the Christ healing ability intermeshed with that heart field in the intuition level, so that everyone has a good feeling as a group on the right decisions and what they're doing in the right way. Now, this is all being percolated and brought together over the next 3 years, and eventually comes down to the earth and percolates up into humanity. And so it's 27, 28, and 29 where that'll start hitting your spirit bodies. And people will start to notice something subtle, especially if they're meditators, energy workers, and people who are focused on group intentions and benevolence and are working the puzzle that way. And they will start to notice things. And even everyday people will start to notice things. And people will start to feel more in benevolent group creations and start to look at non-aligned for the greater good creations as being the wrong direction. And that's needed in order to evolve. So, this is what we'd like you to know this day, that there is the individual level of these upgrades and the group level of these upgrades. Peace be with you. You are dearly loved. Expect benevolence in all you do, and we bid you adieu. This is Dr. Wendy Rowley, and I just have to say, this is very exciting. And I've been reading the news a lot lately, and I have to tell you, it brings up a lot of stuff to worry about. And the elections are going on in this country, and you just kind of want people to, you can respect differences of opinion and different ways of doing things in different cultures and different norms and behaviors to a certain degree, but on some level you kind of want us to establish a kind of universal norm where we go, yeah, we would rather have a world that way than that way. And so this is a beautiful thing to hear, that we will get that group intuition to make a better choice collectively. Great. See you in the next episode.